So in this video, you're going to watch me close a £1,100 a month client that I acquired through Upwork. Now, the company is called Crewer Outdoors, and they're an e-commerce brand that you can check out for yourself. They basically sell outdoor tenting equipment. And on this call, you're going to watch me go into it and close them for £1,100 a month in under 25 minutes. And now I've been working with them for over 3 months. So in total, I've made £3,300 from this single client. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it and get into the sales call.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Derek. Can you hear me?
Yes, I have you now, Ali. How's it going?
Very good, thank you. How are you today?
Very well, very well. No complaints apart from the weather over here, but that's not unusual.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in there's a car alarm going off, which is unusual, but it's not mine. I'm in the southwest corner of Ireland, so County Kerry in down here.
Gotcha. All right, so our time zone should be the same then. I'm in England, Birmingham. So
yeah, we're identical. Yeah,
but we both have crappy weather, so we have that in sync at least.
you're all those fronts coming in from the Atlantic just spill on us first, and then you're okay. You get sorted. All good. So thanks for jumping on. So do you want me to run through first, maybe kind of where and what and how and all that? And
exactly. I think it'd be good to hear a bit about what you wanted to hop on this call for. What exactly is the objective, and then I'll tell you about my experience, see if we're a good fit. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, there's kind of probably 3 branches to this. And I'm just looking here on my right-hand side at your profile, and what jumped out to me at the most, I guess, was Facebook and lead gen and Facebook and that. For a reason I'll explain. But we're an outdoors brand, so we're kind of in that 2 million a year space, thereabouts, a few quid either side of that, kind of the last couple of years. Yep. We want to scale. We've tried Facebook and we've tried Google and we've tried all the usual kind of stuff, and it's becomes very, very expensive. And I think when we've done it in the past, we've kind of done it in an ad hoc way. There's no joined up strategic thinking. It's just kind of throw on a few ads and hope for the best, if you know what I mean. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we're in a space where our USP is our tents are insulated. So you have noise control, you have thermal control, and you have light control inside in the tent. So that's what we want to leverage off. We're not just a regular tent. We're an insulated kind of a cocoon, if you want to call it that.
Gotcha. Do you have a website?
The main market is the US. Secondary market is UK, realistically, and Ireland. I would kind of put them into the same market. I think our average basket size is about $500 or thereabouts. So it's on the large side. So the direct response kind of approach that we mentioned there is probably not going to yield very good results and ROAS and that. So what we're looking for is a strategic approach. A big part of the strategic approach for us at the moment is email capture, email generation, and then the nurturing, I guess, of an email list. Putting our emails together, getting that 30, 40, even 50% open rate where possible, and telling people, pushing people down through the funnel that way. Obviously, we can use the traditional retargeting and all that kind of stuff, but what we've seen work best for us, without a doubt, is email. So we have a Klaviyo. We have a Klaviyo account that we run our regular e-commerce email off of. We have about 70,000, I guess, 70-odd thousand. Yourself at any one stage, there may be 30 or 40,000 of them engaged. I'm also running a parallel newsletter, which is a business B2B newsletter. So it's a kind of getting people to sign up. Hopefully we can turn that into a subscription that people are paying. It's kind of an insight into the outdoors industry. There is some white space there that I think we can take advantage of. It's a weekly newsletter at the moment, but I'd like to turn it into kind of a 3,000-4,000 word email that goes out once a week that people pay for, and then they get the free stuff, in that 1,000 word format earlier in the week. So that's the second part of the project that we would be building. The third part of the project is we do launches on site and on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. We have one coming up in October.
Awesome.
Similar approach in that we're now already building up audiences for this, getting them involved in the development of the project and development it's a jacket, it's an insulated jacket, hence October launch. Makes sense. But it's getting people engaged with what we're doing generally works with that kind of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a misnomer, in my opinion. It's really just another sales channel. We've ran probably 10 or 11 Kickstarters at this stage.
All successful?
Raised. Yeah, all of them have been, yeah. Varying from like 50K up to about 800K,
Wow.
So it's been
Big
decent.
campaigns.
We've also run equity crowdfunding campaigns. So we're very much community and crowdfunding based, really.
Yep.
They were on Cedars. I think and that's why I want to leverage and, double down on that, where we have an email list of 70,000 now or 70 odd thousand now, how do we get that to 700,000? That's where I see the growth, having an engaged email list that you can reach out to when you've whatever's going on in the business. So, that's kind of our story, I guess. We want to try and get from that 2 million threshold up to kind of that 4 or 5 million threshold within the next 18, 24 months.
Right.
And then I guess that's why we're here. We have some people working on Facebook, and on Google Ads and that kind of stuff, but they're really it's amateur hour stuff, to be honest with you, Ali. So we need it's just kind of connections of connections, if you know what I mean. So we need to have a look at this because you're still spending money, right? You're still spending money, even if it's good, bad, or indifferent. So we want to make sure that we have a proper strategic approach to growth.
Yep.
Through those three kind of avenues mostly, and then we do Amazon as well, but we have a guy that's looking after our Amazon for us. That's his thing. So he's just kicked back into that. For this, it's very much better for growth and strategic growth of the main brand. So that's kind of where we are, if that makes sense.
Super interesting. So my first question is, I know you said it's approximately around the 2 million mark. I'm just wondering, all of that is through online sales and crowdfunding together. That's primarily where it's from.
That's all in.
Cool. And the website itself, could I take a look to see how that is kind of presented? I'm curious because that will obviously...
You can, yeah. It's cruaoutdoors.com. So CRUA outdoors, all one word.com.
Okay.
So you should see a hanging tent there.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. And if it's okay, I'd love to see your last crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, please, if that's okay. Just take a quick look at that.
The last Kickstarter. Let's see.
Great website, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we've put a bit of work into the website now, so I think it's about getting the right people to it at the moment. What I'll do is I'll send through this.
Well, in May,
our most recent one actually was just a relaunch of an old product, so we didn't put anything really into that, but it gives you an idea anyway. So let me put it into chat here.
I've just seen. So in May, you received approximately 40,000 visitors to the website. The majority of that traffic came from where? Was it Facebook, emails? I don't know what other avenues of marketing you did. Maybe Google.
40,000 would be just over 1,000. I would say email probably mostly. We were doing some Facebooks at that stage as well, so probably a combination, I would say.
And the people you're emailing, are they people who have purchased in the past and been to the website and signed up, right? Because you must have gotten their emails through some avenue. I presume they're
again, that would be a combination. You'd have a little bit of probably everything. People who've signed up for old campaigns, people who have just signed up for the pop-up on the website, people who may have joined different lead gen and lead ads campaigns we've run, customers. It's a combination really of everybody, to be honest with you.
Do you know if the people who are running the Facebook ads right now, whoever that may be, have they ran a retargeting campaign or a lookalike audience in the past? Have they tried that?
No, not really. No. We've done that in the past, but these guys aren't really doing that. They haven't gotten into that level of complexity, I would say.
Well, at your stage,
where can I put in? We're in Zoom here.
The link, I think, just on Upwork. For some reason, this Zoom doesn't have a message box. It's Upwork.
Well, if you just look at some stage, look for Thermotents on Kickstarter. And you'll find us. You'll find all. I think we've have 8 or 9 campaigns on there at this stage.
Yep.
Or Crua, either or. They want to keep you on. They want to keep you on the platform, obviously.
Yep, absolutely. They have any problem with us communicating outside of it. It's like it's a hellhole. But for clients I work with, I normally exchange numbers. We have direct communication. That way, it's just faster to communicate. I think I found, one of your Kickstarter campaigns. 4 seasons.
Yeah. So if you go into Created by Crew Outdoors, you'll find the list of them there at some stage if you want to have a look.
Awesome. Your Kickstarters are really good too. Is that so? Who's structuring the Kickstarters? Is that you taking care of it, or is it somebody else?
Well, Maria is our marketing head of marketing, and brand, I guess, more so.
Yeah.
So she's kind of getting more involved in the sending out of emails again. We're trying to pigeonhole it a little bit. So I want to kind of take on the paid marketing piece myself in conjunction with her, but she'd be the one that would kind of give the okay on the brand piece.
Yep. Well, I can tell you so far you're on the right track. You guys are crushing it. It's a great Kickstarter campaign, great website. I think what you're looking for is just slight enhancements in marketing so you don't leave any revenue on the table. And we can do that through fairly simple things like retargeting campaigns, lookalike audiences. We can test different audiences with the new prospect campaigns, which should bring in new sales. Let me tell you a bit about myself and my background. So I've been a digital marketer for a little over 7 years. It's been 7.5 years at this point. I got into this because my background's in e-commerce. So many years ago, I used to run a brand called Creation by Memories. That brand was a custom canvas art business, very random, but it's quite a cheesy couples product. So like couples would upload a photo, we turn it into a watercolor, put it on a canvas, ship it out to them. That did very well, but I promoted that primarily through Facebook ads. So that was my first exposure to Facebook ads. Through trial and error, I managed to grow the business and turn it very profitable for a 2-year period. And then I decided that I'd developed the skill of Facebook ads pretty well, and I felt very fluent with it. So I started offering it as a service. So over the years, I've worked with multiple different clients to offer 2 things. So one is e-commerce conversion, which is, it seems what you're looking for here. And the other is lead generation. So for lead generation, I've worked with companies like Gloss Kitchens, like kitchen remodelers. I've worked with bathroom remodelers, tuition companies, dentists, car detailing companies, all of which came to me and said, we want more leads, people interested in my services. And, I would pass those leads over to them as we brought them in. And the other side of things was the e-commerce conversion. So I've worked with, I'm sure you've heard of Mercury Holidays because you're pretty close by to England. I've worked with Mercury Holidays. I've worked with Elisera. I've worked with clothing brands, supplement brands. One thing that makes me confident about your case is you have a brilliant website, so I'm not worried about conversion rate. You already have an audience that you already have their emails from, or you already have all their emails, so we can use that to make lookalike audiences, which is a massive opportunity there. You'll be able to get really, really good cost per results with those type of campaigns. And the fact that you have such a good following, even on Kickstarter, is an advantage. So I'm pretty confident that we could implement a really good strategy with your specific case. But yeah, that was a very condensed version of my background. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes sense. Where do you start, Ali? So is it just having a look at the back end, I guess, of what is going on in Facebook, what has worked in the past, what hasn't worked, you know what I mean? Is it kind of just having a gander in there?
Good question. So I'll tell you the process I take with onboarding new clients. So I would send you an onboarding email, right? There's 3 things I would need from you to get started. So the first thing is obviously access to your ads manager. That allows me to see all the previous campaigns you've launched. I would obviously do an audit and look through all those accounts. I want to see exactly what campaigns you've launched in the past, what has done well, what did the audience resonate with, what kind of people were you targeting, right? That gives me, the more you've spent up until this point, the more advantage we have because I can utilize the information in that data. So that's the first thing is access to the ads manager.
There should be a good bit there. I mean, over the years, we have had various stuff. Some of it worked okay. Some of it was not good. So you should have some of that input there when you have a look.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really useful. I mean, a lot of clients I've worked with in the past have no previous data. So it's becomes, the first campaign is very much many assumptions have to be made to test what works. But the advantage for you is you have that data. The second thing is there's a very short survey that I would like you to fill out. It'll only take you a few minutes, but that just gives me more information about your business because I will then utilize that to do a bit of research on the industry, your competitors. I want to see exactly what they're doing. If you have any competitors that are selling something of a similar nature, I want to see what ads they're running. I want to see how they're marketing their business. I want to consider the different audiences we could target. So that survey helps me prepare for that. That's the second thing, and the third thing is simply the payment. So as the onboarding is complete, I always tell my clients within 10 days we'll be live. That allows me to do an audit of your current accounts. That allows me to prepare an action plan of strategy of what we're going to do, what type of campaign we're going to launch, who we're going to target, which obviously I'll share with yourself. I would take care of the ad copy and the creative. At that point, if you have any create any raw images, raw videos, which I presume you have many of, that would be useful to pass over to me because I could use that to create ads that are applicable to Facebook's placements. And then it's about kind of sharing with you the final strategy, the approach with the campaign, the targeting, the images, the video, and if you're happy with everything, we go live. On a week-to-week basis with all my clients, I share a Loom video breakdown where I go through everything that's happening on the account, what I believe is doing well, what I believe can be improved, and what the action plan is for the following week. So that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much the run.
Are there, in the middle of all this, I should have said, are there intricacies in the US different to the UK, or is it similar patterns you would see?
Are you saying in terms of targeting, which would be better, US or UK? Is that the question?
Well, I can tell you that the US is probably going to be better, but
100%.
Is there something, if you were like, I do want to test both, obviously. So we want to test the UK market and probably the European general market and the US market. Would you target them in separate ways, or would you say that it's the similar kind of? I know that they use different language and all that, but
No, it's a good question, and this is usually will be answered differently for different ad experts. Myself, I don't like to have a campaign targeting US plus UK in one. I don't like to do that. I like to have a campaign based on one location at a time. So if we wanted to target US, UK, and Europe, first of all, you'd need a good enough ad spend to do that, which I presume you do. The second thing would be I wouldn't have, I'd split it based on campaigns. So one campaign would be targeting the US and we'd focus on those ads just being for the US. That allows us to split test better. It allows things to not be, lost in translation based on targeting a European country versus US. They have different styles, different images, different ad copies work better. So I don't like to distinguish between two different countries. One campaign per country is best.
Okay, that makes sense. So you mentioned payment. Two things? What would you want as an ad spend, I guess, to start testing per day, let's say, and what do you charge yourself?
Okay, so the charge is correlated to the ad spend, right? Because the more you spend, the more complex the account is for me. But I mean, what I could recommend you a number of what to spend, but it's so subjective. I mean, do you have a budget that a benchmark of what you'd like to allocate to the ads, or shall I just give you a number?
No, you just give me an idea of what you think you'd be most comfortable starting off with, I guess, per day. Opening up a few different geographies and testing different, I guess, creatives and content and stuff like that. What are you thinking?
Well, to be honest with you, obviously the more the better because we can test different variables. But if I'm going to give you a number of what's a good starting point, I'd say, especially for e-commerce and considering the industry you're in, I think anywhere between 100 to 150 a day would be a good starting point. I don't know if that's, a budget that you're happy to test with on Facebook. But obviously the more the better, because then we have the ability to test different audiences, different things, and we'll be able to find out what works faster.
So you broke up there a little bit, 150-ish a day.
Yeah, between 100 to 150 would be a good starting point per day.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's probably what I was thinking. Yeah, you're probably around the same lines there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And for the person that you wanted to potentially hire as an ad specialist for the role, did you have a kind of budget in mind that works for you? I'm happy to try and be
No,
flexible to
because
work
I've
with them.
seen such absolutely wide
Yeah.
quotes from that perspective that
Yeah.
it's crazy that it's the same thing that they're providing. But look, we obviously are price sensitive, but at the same time, we kind of want it to be done properly, if you know what I mean. So it's both sides of that.
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm being completely frank with you and transparent, so I'll tell you at this current moment, obviously, this is what I do full time. I have 8 active clients, right? Many of which I've worked with for quite some time. So I'm very comfortable with their accounts. This would be a great time for me to take on another project and sink my teeth in. So in terms of pricing, it's if you're spending, let's say, £3,000 a month, yeah, let me see. I mean, to be honest, what I would usually quote for that is 1,500 a month. But I know that you're an account that I do want to work with, so I'm going to try and sweeten the offer. For me, I'm happy to quote you 1,200 per calendar month for this. And again, I know you've probably spoken to many freelancers. There's some that will do it for 400 a month, 800 a month, 2,000 a month. There's various different numbers. For me, this is obviously what I do full time, and I'm not in the game of trying to get volume of clients. I'm in the game of trying to retain clients, because that, I feel, is how I'm going to be able to, grow my career better. So there's a certain amount of work that has to go in exchange of that, and that's why I try and price my services around that range, which is more on the higher side than some people you can find in Costa Rica or Pakistan, India.
Yeah, and I do appreciate there's a benefit to being in market as well. I think there are intricacies, and it's some of the we've seen that in the past where even the language barriers and stuff like that do create issues.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
okay, will you send me an email after the call, please, Ali? It's Derek OS, so DEREKOS, and then at
DEREKOS.
DEREKOS, as in O'Sullivan OS. Um, at crewoutdoors.com at the same URL. So Jericho S or Sky at crewoutdoors.com.
Got it. Okay. I'll shoot you an email.
So if you send me on some of the details you've just talked about, the questionnaire, I'll run it by Maria. But anyway, I'll have to say in the end. If you have one or two of the websites that you said you've worked with, it'd be great if you could send them on just to have a comparison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe closest. I realize that no two things are the same, so it's just to give you more an idea of the approach if you could send me a case study, I guess maybe for to a degree where look, here's the what we're selling.
Yep.
Ideally, if there's a higher price point, but not necessarily. Here's what we're selling. Here's how we went about it, and this is what we'd kind of see maybe working. That'd be great. We'll be making a decision on it fairly quick, so we want to move on with this before the summer is gone, because obviously July, August is kind of prime territory for us. September is still not bad. October drops off, and then November you're into obviously Christmas and Black Friday and all that kind of stuff. So we need to be ready
Big
for that as
times.
well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's kind of the way the pattern goes. And in the middle of that, we have a Kickstarter, a new product launching in October as well. So lots going on in the second half of the year.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and send you the email with some details. I'll probably record a short Loom video showing you an account that I'm working on now and the kind of results that I've been generating, so you can take a look at that. If you'd like, I can share with you my phone number as well. That way you can WhatsApp me if any questions come up that you forgot to ask. It's the fastest way to contact me, just my direct line. Yeah, and it was a pleasure speaking to you, Derek.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, listen, thanks again, Ali. I'll let you go. Send that on, and we'll be toing and froing. I'll be in the office with Maria in the morning, and we can run through the bits and pieces.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Speak soon.
Okay, have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye.
And there you have it, guys. As you can see, it was pretty much a conversation. I didn't have any pitch deck. I didn't have any insane structure. The majority of the call is just trying to understand what the client wants, what problems they're currently having, and then understanding the value I can provide to them in order to fix those problems. And like I said before, I've worked with this client for a little over 3 months, so I've generated £3,300 in total from this single client account. And so I hope if you're a new freelancer or you're new to Upwork, that this gives you a bit more confidence that it's very possible to close high ticket clients through Upwork, because I've been doing this now for 16 months and my fees cost anywhere from £800 to £2,500 a month. And so it's very possible to land very high ticket clients through the platform of Upwork. If you want to find out more about the way I bid for jobs on Upwork specifically, then click the link down below to go to upmatch.io where you can find out more about the system that I use.